Hey, welcome back, guys. Man, there was a bird standing on the stack and he's just been pooping on this thing like crazy. So we left the 986 and the two harrows up here as the other harrow broke, and we just got done dragging it off. We drug it down over the hill to where the haystack was, and I thought, man, I'm kind of thinking I want to leave the very outer ends of this kind of like a headland. I want to leave headlands on it so that I can access the that, because that's reseeded, so we should have some oat hay off of it. So I'm thinking, hey, you know what, why don't we just drive around the outside of the field before we plow this with the harrow, and it'll leave us a nice 36 foot swath. Anyway, so Cameron's here with me. He's going to drive the other plow today, and we're going to get this farm done. There should be about 30 acres of plowing to do on this farm. But before we get started, since I had that as an idea, I thought, you know what, Cameron mentioned, he says, why don't you just drive around where you don't want to plow and leave us a headland so we can, you know, have a nice even headland. I thought, hey, that's a damn good idea. So I'm going to drive around the field real quick with the harrow down, kind of marking out where we don't want to plow. Ah, smart lad, isn't he? Alright, I want to hit the fence. Those stupid harrows are good at getting into fences. And there should be some, there they are, should be some posts. When we acquired this farm, it had fences all over the place, in which we just, there we go, right over the top of that wood post. Ah, shit. Knocked that one out in the field. It had fences kind of marking out that stuff that's reseeded. It was CRP, so that's why them fence posts are there. Okay, so I'm just going to run around the outside of the field with this harrow and kind of smash it down. So we got kind of an idea where we want to leave for headlands. Alright, there we go. Except today we're plowing with 2 tractors. Ha! That's pretty cool. Got 10 bottoms turning dirt. 5 here and 5 there. This old tractor seems a little on the tired side. Yeah, this dirt's awful hard, and it's not turning under quite like the other. The tilth on this one's quite a bit stickier than the prior fields. Like we got a little bit of clay showing up right here. Never plowed this one before, so I don't know how this ground is. We've had this ground now, I think this will be our third or fourth year. I think it's our 3rd year. Anyway. So she's quite a bit more slabby. So we're going to get the disc up here and get this chewed back down so she's not drying out, losing all our moisture. Get that broke down. Very slabby over there. He's got his phone out recording this. Little silly guy. A lot better tilth up here anyway. Still got some clods or ribbons, but not nearly as bad as down over there. Really ribbony down there. We're just about done. Makes things go a lot faster when we got two of them running together. Oh my, hey, hold on. There we go, now you can see better. Boy, I'm sure glad we got that other anteater going with the plow on her. That cramming a little bit to figure out how to run, but that's alright, it's good for him. I think everybody should know how to plow, for fuck's sake. It is kind of a lost, lost ability, lost art. Not everybody can figure out how to make their headlands and square shit out. that app really has, I was trying to figure out how to make a nice, big hilltop, long fucking setup, and I figured out I was playing around with that app. If you enter the AB line but manual instead of basically automatic or GPS, I think is what it says. Well, then I can adjust and put curves in it. Well, son of a bitch, I guess if I can put a curve in it, let's see if we can't kind of contour farm this goddamn thing, or plow it at least. And that's what I did. I set up like 6 different dots that wiggled the line, which let me do the wavy curve, and then we got down here halfway and had that 90-degree turn to the right. So I knew that's kind of how I wanted to do it, because last year when Haven came down and mowed hay for me, he mowed this farm, and that's how he mowed it, with the big swath mower in that kind of a shape. And I thought, god dang, I kind of like that long ass windrow. Then we go from clear down here on the west corner halfway across the farm, and then we turn and go up towards that was really pretty slick. So that worked out pretty good with the plows. Again, the cell service is kind of finicky on that GPS thing, so I just kind of, use my judgment. When it starts bouncing around, I don't, really want to follow that bounce. I just kind of keep it where it last told me to go, and I think it turned out pretty close. Anyway, I'm doing an awful lot of gabbing, and you guys want to see what's going on probably, so let me shut up so you can watch what's going on. Just put the dual tire back on so Cameron could go back to disking, and I'm gonna run into town and get him a load of fuel, because that's the one I was driving, and it's getting pretty dang close to being empty. His is too, but we're not putting the dual back on his. So he's gonna go do some disking, and probably gonna be after it most of the night. He said he wants to go up and do that field that we just got done plowing. So, and tomorrow, with any luck, maybe we can go down and do that offset disking, so we can kind of get a really good comparison of what plowing and plow disking looks like. Well, that's the plan. But first thing in the morning, we're going to run back up to where the 9150 is and get it brought home. So We're gonna waste a couple hours doing that. But anyway, we're done up there, so we can just go ahead and bring that girl home. That way we can use it. Well, guys, here's our shot to see how the offset discs compare to the moldboard plow. I sent these two down here, Haven and Cameron, to start in and rip up some of this alfalfa down here. And they haven't been here very long, and they've already got this, I don't know, 8-10 acre piece done. Now they're starting in on this piece. So we've got 40, I guess not quite, like 37 acres down here we're gonna get ripped up and go to corn. Yeah, so it'd be nice to see how the offsets compare to the moldboard plows. Look at him just ripping along over there. He's bouncing a little bit, got a little bit of power hop going on. Probably ought to deflate the front tires. Yeah, definitely a faster process. Obviously we're a little bit wider. This one's 10 foot, that one is 12 foot. That's the one that was my dad's when he farmed. Long history of getting it back and now running it, because that's kind of cool having something my dad used to farm with. I got the Bobcat fixed. She'd blowed a seal while I was down here clearing out this driveway. This driveway's been a nightmare, and I've got the tree puller still on. So we're gonna go around and yank out a few more trees, mostly thorn trees. So I've been around this field. I've yanked the fence row out right along there. That tree's a little on the big side for me, so we'll just leave it for now. It's gonna get dozed, whatever, later. A lot of stuff's gonna happen this fall is what the landlord's saying. But anyway, I'm gonna go around and yank out a few more of those black locust trees. They've got thorns on them. They're, gee whiz, that are like 3 inches long, great big suckers. I don't want those in my tractor tires. So we'll go get those yanked out. I'm gonna go down in the bayou down here and make the bayou a little bit more farmable. We have never been in there. I didn't even realize it was back there, but there's some good grass in there, so we're gonna try to bale that. We're gonna continue baling this bottom alongside the creek. So that's what I'm gonna do while these guys are out disking. Pretty cool. So definitely not as dead or black as I would like to see, and that's the difference. The moldboard plows, like one of these other, like one of my commenters mentioned 2 weeks ago, is that yeah, the plow just completely lays it exactly 180 degrees over, where the disc will throw it over with the front, and then the back will throw it back over. It does a good job of kind of mincing it up, but it's definitely not as, you know, not black like I would like it to be going into corn. But it'll be okay. It'll be good enough. We'll get the big 30-foot disc down here this afternoon and get this chewed up a little bit finer yet, and then I think we're going to let it sit. We've got some rain chances coming through here in a day or two. So letting it sit and letting it get rained on, we might even leave the big disc down here. We can chew this up again after it gets rained on. I think that would help. But that's what I'm talking about. We disc it once, or we plow it, you know, plow it with one of these, and then we're gonna disc it again this afternoon. So we would probably do that with the plow as well. But then we'll have to chew it up again a third time, because it's, you know, still pretty clumpy and cloddy. I definitely can't plant into that. Those are pretty good sized clods. We'll see what it looks like in a couple days, but it's gonna break up pretty good. So I don't know, it's kind of a trade-off, guys. Do you want to go a little bit faster with your initial pass and not be as, you know, have to be as nitpicky with your rows and being dead straight with them and having to bounce through and blah blah blah, And you know, you have to come back through several more times with other discs to chew it down, or do you want to just take your time and be precise and, you know, plow, and then it's dead, and smooth it off with harrow or lightly disc it? I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna go yank some trees out around, you can't see it, there's another bottom over there, the really nice big bottom. And shouldn't say big, it's only like 10 acres. Anyway, because it's got some locust trees right towards the end of the field where the tractors need to be turning around, so we'll go get them yanked out. I'll show you a few if I can what the tree puller does. And they're on to their last piece. See, they're not running GPS, so their parallels aren't, well, their back and forth aren't parallel. That's what I mean to say. They're not running that little lap that I was using. But there it is. You can see we got some dirt over there, and you got another little hillside over here. All getting tore up. So I did, I've been pulling trees. I intended to just come down here and work along this fence row, but I ended up going all the way around this little piece, pulling trees and shoving them back. This fence row needs to be removed so that we can farm all the way to the ditch, but we just haven't got to that. Landlord and I haven't come to terms on how far he wants to go and how much he wants to do and so on. So he does have some plans though. He's planning on putting a great big pond structure over here in this ditch, so maybe we'll get some more fence removed and whatever. Anyway, these guys are about wrapped up, so I'm gonna paddle back over there to where my pickup is and call it a day with the skid loader. Maybe come back down here at the trailer and get it. Well, that was certainly interesting, seeing the difference between plowed ground and heavy disc plowed, whatever, offset disc. Well, anyway, I got to get down here and feed the pigs. They're ready for their dinner. Anyway, so you guys make sure you come along now down below. Give me some comments. What do you think is better off for turning under alfalfa? You gonna go for the plow, or you gonna go for the offset disc? It's maybe a little bit faster. Anyway, thank you all for coming along. Make sure you come down below and give me a good thumbs up and give me a like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, catch you later.